a trick, talk about a concept, a mindset. But being that, conference was just last week, I wanted to talk to Tommy first and then Dave. Just in terms of, I know there's a lot, but for you, Tommy, couple of takeaways about conference, and then as a follow-up, that all of those are great, right? Experiences, they can be personal to us, but things you recommend in terms of something that all of us can do moving forward to move the needle in our business.
Well, thanks for this opportunity, Bridget. Think about this. You were talking about consistency. Has anybody owned a jalopy in their life? Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you worry about that car starting? Did you worry about getting it fired up in the cold and in the winter and
all the
did
time.
yeah, here's the thing. And I heard this morning, so I'm kind of stealing this, but um be the car that you know that's going to start right away. Don't be the car that's going to start here and then, you know, maybe get out of the driveway, maybe get down the street, maybe won't make it to where you're going. Like, I know we're going on spring break here in a couple days, and you know, we have an in-town car and an out-of-town car. We have a car that we are not taking out of town because we would be stuck in some town, and we don't want to go to some town. We want to go to somewhere. So think about that. Um, the consistency piece of this is starting your car every single day and getting going and keeping going. That was one of the biggest things I learned, and one of the most profound things I heard was at a lunch the second day, and it was really, really cool. Um, don't wait, and for all of you new on this call, don't wait for those above you to fire you up. Please don't wait for the founders to fire you up. Don't wait for 130s to fire up. Don't wait for this. Remember, a fire is started at the bottom. Every time, we love Survivor at our house. And when they do the fire making, what are they doing? They're working on the bottom and they're trying to build it up, right? You all right here on this call are the bottom of the fire. So light that fire and build that fire up because this business is never going to get easier than it is right now. Number one, we have instant issue products. Number two, we have instant delivery leads. Number three, we have all the support in the world with these powerhouses and with everything else going on. You have everything, the ease of recruiting. You see the numbers. It is easy, like Dave talked about. It's easy to go talk to somebody when you have the numbers to back it up, right? If we were going through a funk as a business, Dave, would you have talked to that guy and said, "Yeah, you can make some money here. It might be tough, but you can make it." No, you're going to say, "Heck yeah, we're undefeated in 16 years. This is the deal. We have a place at the table for somebody who wants to make 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 10,000 a week." That enables you to talk with the confidence and the ability and the conviction that this system works. That's one of the biggest things I took away from is light the fire from the bottom and just build your fire as bright and as big as you can. Being on the other side of a conference is really interesting because right before we went on the producer panel, we got a master class from Dylan Crane in the green room on how to run mortgage protection appointments, which is crazy from six top producers kind of going, "Okay, what? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more." Um, but it was really cool. But the breakouts were amazing. I now know exactly how to implement and execute PCS business. We had rock stars going through this. It is awesome. Sat through Bo Easton's, his was amazing on how to tell your story, right? Your stories, we've heard this all throughout sales and all throughout presentations that facts tell and stories sell. And if you can't tell your story, if you can't tell a story with something, it's going to be hard. It's going to be you need this, pointing, and they go, "Nope, I don't." Um, those are some of the biggest takeaways for sure. Um, the founders got up and talked, and they were saying the same thing. This business has never been more simple, not easy to do and to perform. And everybody on this call, thank you for all of you that have cameras on because it shows you're participating and you're locked in and you're at least watching, not doing something else, because that's where this fire starts, right here. And I I have definitely set a non-negotiable of firing up every call that I'm on, regardless of what call it is. So get ready, brace for it. We are ready to roll. And you know, it's it goes without saying, to see everybody there is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But you talked about, so thank you for that, Tom, because people assume a lot of things. Well, it's high energy at the conference, meaning it's easy to get fired up, when you're there
Mhm.
and you see what's possible. And to your point, you also see people just like you going up on stage and you know what their numbers are, what their production is, and you're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But now that, again, and even if you're new and we're there and you come home, right? The lights go down, the whole vibe of conference, I don't want to say wears off, but it dims, right? Because it's a lot of energy. What is one thing you could recommend to anybody, new or otherwise, on this call to talk about, to do what you just said, which is start the fire, keep it lit? What's one thing?
It's so simple. Stay close to the fire.
Hmm.
There you go.
All of this, Brandon, thank God for the hug with Brandon. That was like the best. But the thing is, when you have when you have this function, when you have this ability, when you have this system set in front of you, and Bridget, to your point, the only way this thing lessens or dims is if you get farther away from the fire.
Yep.
That is it. That's a choice you make. That's a choice that you decide to stay away from the virtual offices. That's a choice that you make to stay away from these powerhouses. That's your choice. Your choice to
Hmm.
separate will get you cold real quick.
Yep.
Stay
And that's
close
the
to this
fire.
damn fire, and that because all of this stuff is simple. We get our leads, we dial, we book appointments, we help families, we help our families. It is that simple. How close
Yep.
you stay to the fire is going to light you up going forward, and that's it.
Period. Period. Right. So I love it being in here. Well, I'm going to go over to Dave quickly and then we'll go to you, Abel. But Dave, what was the top thing that you got out of conference? I mean, you've been here longer than anybody on this call.
Hmm.
Um, what would be the couple of things that you either were reminded of or learned something new?
So, Bridge, you should have seen the video that Brandon and Casey made. It was probably the all-time craziest thing they've ever done, which is a pretty high bar. Um, and they're just out of their minds. And I've always loved that about, I mean, out of their minds. And so Tommy said it very well. Maybe a different way of saying it is do the activities that you don't want to do, which is what? Dialing. But if you will make yourself and make a commitment to yourself, you get on the phone, you don't feel like it. I was telling this new guy was asking me my advice, and I said, um, you know, look to get a whole bunch of no's right away. Look for somebody to be rude to you. Look, because that's what you're afraid of, right? That's what everybody's afraid of. But if you just go and you take one on the chin, it's just like that boxer analogy. Now you're ready to go. So it's activity, it's staying close to the fire and all those things. On the recruiting side, Kelly Bush did a presentation that I really liked. She was talking about, uh, for us, there's people that we've talked to Symmetry about, but they didn't move forward. And you're like, well, I guess that's my shot. They don't want to do it. She said she's got a gal on her team. She had to put this opportunity in front of, and I don't know exactly how she did that, 11 times. 11. And now the lady's here just killing it. So, for me, I went through all these old people Gretchen and I have talked to. I sent them a text. I've gotten 2 responses. It's, it could be timing, it could be whatever. So that was for me a big thing. And I want to get to Ibble, but I want to get Brian in here real quick. Brian, unmute yourself there, pal. I really
Dave,
was proud of him.
to
Yes.
add to your story, that 11-time agent that she reached out to is an elite producer and an agency owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Brian, real quick, what were your takeaways? Make it quick.
All right. I can be verbose, but I'll be quick. Anybody that's there is willing to help you and reach out. You can talk to anybody about any problem you have. And Symmetry, the whole concept is a good culture. So like this job isn't easy. I remember Tom's speech where he said his first day of dials, he puked and cleaned his garage after 21 dials, and he's a top producer now. So you're going to have struggles, but this is all set up that there's people you can reach out to and get help for anything you need, and you can learn anything. And I've been stuck on the exam, and I learned so much. I'm cruising through stuff right now to get it done.
Good,
Love it.
buddy. Yeah, you did it. You did a real nice job.
That's perfect. 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 Ibble, over to you.
I'm on my phone, gotta find that mute button. Well, good morning, everybody. I love a good conference. But one of the things that I can't remember who I learned from, it may have been Miranda Martin, it may have been some other book that we've read, which if you're not reading, read. That's a good tip. But is to review your notes, whether that's from the conference if you attended, which you should, or from any call that you're on. And you have to have three letters while you're reviewing your notes. You want to do A for apply, something you need to apply to your business. C, something you should change about your business. Maybe something that you're doing wrong. Maybe something that you're like, oh, I see that this is a better avenue for recruiting. Or, oh, maybe I should change the lead type and work that lead type for 6 weeks and see if it works better than the one I'm working now. And then T for teach. So ACT, apply, change, or teach. So something you should teach to yourself or an agent on your team. And that's something that like I've been the person that takes notes and then never looks at them again. That's not what we should do. Okay. You want to, and I know it is in Miranda Martin's book, you want to review it after a few days. So now we've had, 4 or 5 days since conference, and you want to review it after a month. You want to review it after a few months to go back and look over it. I actually wrote all of my Ignite notes this year from the same notebook that was in Ignite 2025. And I'm like, oh, look at all the things I didn't do. You don't want to have that, okay? Don't go back and look at all the things you could have done a year ago and didn't do. So that's my tidbit. And also, if you haven't gone to the conference, you should go because it's a lot of fun. And, I got to hang out with Brian because he was like, we got a car, I can drive you to dinner. I was like, score. And Becky, she lived there in Dallas, so we get to hang out with Becky. So if you want to get to know people, that's how you get to know people in person. So back over to you, Bridget.
I love that, Ibble. And I remember that Miranda said that a while back about that ACT. And you think about that and how helpful that can be, because it can sometimes mean, okay, I'm doing the things, maybe I just do more of it. But if you don't kind of review, especially when you're new with your mentor and track what you're doing, there's no way for us to help you, right?
Yeah.
And so tracking everything.
I think the most important, just from my own perspective, the most important is the C, the change, because we love to do things the same way we've always done them. And I'm talking to myself, and everyone that knows me knows I'm talking to myself. So being able to make a change and make a pivot, whether that's, oh, I've been really working with this one product this whole time. Maybe I should learn, a new one so I can have more options for my clients, right? Or maybe I should change to that different lead type because it's just not working. And going back and tracking, I think it was a couple years ago, Paige may remember this. I went back through and I mean, it was a couple hours of a deep dive, but I went back through and I looked at the time, Razor Ridge leads, which was like general life. I was terrible on them. And I said, hey, my cost of doing business with using these Razor Ridge leads was awful. So I just quit using them, right? For other people that may be better. But like I did a deep dive and said, that's not where my business lies. And that's not good for me. Wasting my money. So that's always important too.
Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. So thanks for all the ads, guys. So I think that the messaging is stay close to the fire. The fire is all of these calls. You've already made the commitment to yourself by being on this one and throughout the week. But really, really, I urge you to take advantage of that the powerhouse sessions, because you're going to hear again from the best of the best from people. We all started at the same spot, guys. We all did. We all came in, even if you were in insurance before. Symmetry is new. So get there, be consistent with it, and everybody have a great week. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.